Hi, I'm Travis. Welcome to Benefits Breakout, my show on YouTube which documents me going from unemployable benefits survivor to financially free entrepreneur. This is week one's video. It's coming in a day late, unfortunately. Yesterday, when I planned to upload this, I had a bit of a mental health hiccup, let's put it that way, and I wasn't feeling up to it. So I parked it and I'm back on the horse today. The important thing for me is to not give up just because I had a hiccup. I have to keep pushing through. So this video, first video, is my weekly goals. Format is I'm going to be going through what I've done previous week, what my goals are for the next week. And as this is the first one, I got a bit of filling in to do with you guys. So let's get started with what I've done so far in terms of property investing and how I got to where I am today. So a bit of a story time. I'll try and make it interesting. I'll try not to waffle on too much, but I know I do that quite a lot. So bear with me. So a couple of months ago, I guess, I stumbled across a Samuel Leeds video where, and for those of you who don't know, Samuel Leeds has a YouTube channel. He's a very successful property entrepreneur, and he's built quite a substantial business off the back of investing in properties. A couple of months ago, I stumbled across one of his videos. I'm gonna, hopefully, if I can figure out how, put a link to it here-ish. If not, I'll put it in the description below. Basically, he did a challenge where he went to a new town where he was, you know, not completely unknown, but not where he's familiar with. And the challenge was within 1 week of being in this town, using his skills and no money to rely on to purchase a property. And he did it. He showed how in 7 days it's possible for you, through hard work and hustle, let's not put it lightly, it was a lot of work, but he was able to secure a property and a passive income for himself just by meeting people, viewing properties, finding deals, putting them together and finding a seller and making a profit on that. And it sort of blew my mind because I've been thinking for a long time, you know, these landlords that I live in these landlords that I live in their houses, you know, they must have it sweet because it's, you know, shared accommodation. I'm paying £500 a month. My housemates are all paying £500 a month. And I was just thinking, man, there must be a huge, even if there's a mortgage on this property, the money that's coming in must outpace it. So seeing that and sort of having it casually and simply explain how it works sort of was an eye-opening, mind-blowing moment for me. So I was like, man, this is cool. I want to learn more. So I started binge watching like as many videos as I could, sort of absorbing as much information as I could regarding the techniques that I used and, you know, how different ways you can basically make money, start a business in property without having anything to start with. And I was like, man, I could do this. Obviously, I'm not ready to start doing it yet because I don't know the game. I've got to learn the game. So yeah, I just digested as much information as I could. Quick caffeine break. So yeah, that's where it all started for me. I started binge watching, and the first thing that I did was I went on meetup.com. Now I don't know if you've used Meetup. Basically, it's an event planning platform. They've got an app, and basically people can post public events and anyone can go along to them. So I went in there and I searched property investment meets in Bristol. Well, by the way, that's where I live. I live in Bristol. And I found two things that were on. I found one. There was a property meet on. It was run by a dude. I'm not sure if I should say anyone's names anyway, but anyway, this dude was running it was a meet-up in a coffee shop in town. And it was to meet up and just talk about property investing. I was like, what a good start. I like coffee, I like meeting people. So I signed up, and initially there was a bit of a pushback. He was like, oh, this meeting really is for people who are established, and to talking about what we're doing and discussing, it's not really a beginner's forum. But I sort of pushed through that, and I was like, look, dude, I'm just starting out, and I'm really hungry for information. It would be a huge help for me to just, even if I can just sit in the room and listen to you guys talk, I'm sure I'll be able to learn a lot. And so eventually he said, all right, go on then, just come along. And I don't want to get misrepresent this man. He's a lovely man, but he's trying to establish sort of like an event that is angled towards people who are successful investors and people who are already doing it but just want to grow and develop. So props to him for doing what he's doing, but really huge thank you for him letting me come and sit along. And I did learn lots. I got to sit and chat and hear about, there was a lady who does HMOs, and there's another lady who's into commercial refurbs, and there was a dude there who had come along to try and pitch, try and sell some land that he had. I managed to see some very unsuccessful sales technique. Thank you to that man. But yeah, it is important. You can learn from everyone, even if it's learning what not to do, which might be the theme of this channel, is learning what not to do. But let me make the mistakes so you don't have to. But I found it really inspiring, and the people I met there, I was really surprised to find how friendly and welcoming they were. So my whole life dealing with landlords and stuff, I had this preconception in my mind that landlords, they're all greedy, nasty people. So that's kind of what I was expecting. But when I went there, they're just people, like men and women like you and me. They've got families, they've got lives, they've got interests, and this is like, either their business or their side hustle or anything like that. And they're all really nice. And I think I felt really, really supported, which was the most surprising thing. I went in there and I was honest. I said, look, I'm not a property investor yet. I'm just here to learn. I'm hungry for information. Any information I can get is great. And, if you guys answer my questions that I have as they come up, it'd be really helpful. And basically everyone wants me to succeed. Yeah. Everyone there was like, it's really cool. It's really cool that you're trying to get yourself into a better situation. You've got a few things against you, but you're not letting that put you off. And yeah, and then they told me about this other meet that was happening the week after, which was at a pub. It was a bit more of a casual affair. I went along to that as well and met more people, and just chat. And I was just really honest and open with everyone. It's like, look, I can't work at the moment because I'm signed off by the doctor while I'm going through therapy. But I sort of stumbled into this property investing thing, and it's really captivated me, and I find it really interesting. All the information seems to just make sense and click with me, and I think this is something that I could actually do really well in with the right guidance. And I took a few business cards while I was there. People were sympathetic to my position, but also I would say, I don't want to say inspired because that's like blowing out a bit. They were sort of, they were like, it's neat that you're trying to make things better for yourself through property. They all wished the best for me, and I got into contact with a lady who runs a company that takes commercial properties, buys them, converts them to single lets, and then lets them out again. And she was really lovely. She also does a bit of like life coaching and stuff on the side. But a couple of days later, I hit her up with a text, and I was like, hey, it was really lovely to meet you, and you're telling me about this project that you're doing, where you're converting some, her current project that she's working on. It'd be really cool if I could come along and just have a look at what you're doing, and yeah, just see what it's like. And yeah, she said, yeah, come along and have a look. It'd be great. I love your enthusiasm. You're a nice dude. I'd be happy to show you around. And so I did. So full disclosure, there was some other people also I pitched the same idea to, that either one of them went on holiday and I couldn't see him, but and another one I didn't hear back from, but you know, I ask, and that's the important thing, is to ask, I guess. And yeah, I went and saw her property, had a chat, and you know, learn about what she's doing. I explained my position. She gave me a bit of advice on, you know, where to start and that. And yeah, I found it really inspiring, and it was really, really refreshing to go and hang out and spend time and learn from people who were genuinely succeeding in what I wanted to succeed in, and they knew stuff that I wanted to know. These were people I could look up to, like proper mentor figures in my life, which is not something that I've had for a long time. It was sort of, I first found that sort of feeling when I was watching Samuel Leeds videos. I was like, man, this guy knows what he's doing. I'd love to be able to pick his brain and get advice and have him in my contacts list for help if I needed it. But you know, he's a YouTube, he's sort of a big fish at the moment compared to me. So I didn't reach out to Sam, and whatever. I am though. I'm going. Well, actually, I'll talk about that later. But it was really cool to see people who are successful, hang out with them, pick their brains, and have them believe in me and say, yeah, man, you can do it. It's going to be hard, but you can do it. And we're here to help. If you have questions, shoot me this way. If you have any properties that you're looking at and you want a second opinion on, just send us the documents. It was a great experience, really inspiring. That was a couple of months ago. I then, unfortunately, I did have a bit of a mental health break where I wasn't really able to engage anymore with these goals in my life. I went through a bit of a difficult period of trying to get the right kind of therapy that I needed, blah, blah, blah. It's a long story. I might talk about it at some point, but yeah, basically there was a lot of other stuff going on and I didn't have a lot of energy for property. But now I'm coming back at it with a vengeance, and that's what inspired this YouTube channel. So that's sort of my background, right? Actually, there's one other thing that I should tell you. Another thing that I think a lot of people in my position, it might not be something that immediately occurs to them, but I found it super helpful. Basically, I sent a WhatsApp message to my landlord, right? When I moved into this house that I live in, the landlord was the guy who showed me around. He runs it privately. It's not through a company or anything like that, which is, you know, it's really cool. That's what I want to do eventually. And in chatting to him when I was doing the house and doing the lease agreements and all that, he was telling me that he runs a, excuse me, might have a quick coffee. So I'm like trying to get it all out because I'm nervous, because speaking on camera is not my strong suit, but I'll get used to it. Hopefully quality of videos will get better as time goes on, as I get more used to this. Yeah, he mentioned he runs a portfolio of 10 properties. They're all HMOs, I think, or no, they're not all HMOs, but that is what he explained to me. He's like, oh, you know, I pretty much run properties full time. You know, this is my house, I rent it out, and this is how I make an income. I don't have to work anymore. You know, I just maintain these properties and I have a comfortable life. And I was like, well, that's really cool. And so when I was watching Samuel Leeds stuff, and when I was first sort of really, so basically when I was getting into property and I was really hungry for information, I was really seeking it out, I sent him a message. I said, hey mate, I've just, you know, started getting interested in property investing, something that I think I'd like to do. I remember you mentioned that you have a portfolio. I'd love to take you out for coffee and just, you know, ask you a few questions about what it's like and, you know, how you get into it and all that sort of stuff. And I was really surprised he actually agreed to do it. So we went out for coffee. Best thing was he arrived early to the cafe where we were meeting up. He bought his own coffee, so I didn't even have to buy him a coffee. Which is, well, I was bribing him down to get the information. I was going to say, I will buy you a coffee if you give me, you know, some time to talk to you. And he spent a good hour chatting to me about his strategy and stuff, because all his properties are local. a lot of them are student lets, and he was talking about how student lets are good because you don't have to pay council tax and yada yada yada, and how students are generally good tenants to have because they're less likely to sort of default on their payments. They've got that sort of fear. Is that a great way? Is they've sort of got a fear in it. If they lose their house, they can't keep going to school, so the rent's always on time, and there's very rarely a problem, and they usually have sort of parents backing them up. If they get into trouble, the rent is pretty much guaranteeing the students, which I found surprising because I thought students would be sort of bad tenants because they're young and immature. They're probably not very good with their finances. I know I wasn't when I was in university, and that they would miss their payments and they trash the place and stuff. But he said the opposite. He said just student lets so much easier than tenanting other HMOs and single let. So that was some information that he gave me, which was really insightful. And he also offered to, if you have any questions or anything moving forward, hit me up. I've got the information that you need. And he gave me information of a good mortgage broker that he uses. He said this mortgage broker, he's the business, he understands the game, and he'll be able to get you the product that you need if you get that far, which is huge. So having a personal recommendation, I haven't called this mortgage broker obviously because I'm not investing yet, but I've got that sort of first degree of contact where I've got this man's contact details, and he works with someone that I know, and they've recommended him. So that's a fairly easy into this game. Well, a fairly easy access into seeing that mortgage broker. So that was great, yeah. So I would recommend that to anyone who is starting out. Hit up your landlord. You never know, they might have the information that you need. The overall feeling is if you're willing to put in effort and engage with the property investing community, they're very supportive and everyone believes that you can do it, and they're all very happy to help, at least at face value. So that's my takeaway. Where else was I guess, then I was explaining I fell out of the game a little bit, but I'm back in now making these videos. I said that already. Okay, so this week my plan is, first of all, on Friday I'm catching the 4 a.m. coach up to Birmingham to attend Samuel Leeds' property investing crash course for 2 days. I signed up for that a few months ago. It was free. Hopefully I'll learn some interesting stuff. I understand how these things work. It's a free crash course. They're probably going to try and sell you a more advanced course or mentorship or something. There has to be a way they're trying to make money. I don't have any money to give them, so I'm just going to learn what I can, see if I can meet some people who I click with, and some contacts in the industry. It's going to be a fun couple of days, with the exception of I don't have anywhere to stay in Birmingham. So on the Friday night, I think the seminar finishes at 11. I've got to find something to do until 9 a.m. the next morning, when the second day starts. So it's going to be a rough night, I think, but I've spent time on the streets before. I know how to get by, so I'll be all right. So all up there, that cost me like 15 quid for the bus tickets to Birmingham and back. So I'll hopefully be able to report back next week of what I learned, what were the main takeaways, and whether or not I thought that was worthwhile for other people. And then so that's my plan for this week. Also, before I go, I'd like to spend some time rewatching some of Samuel's videos, perhaps listening to podcasts, and just sort of refreshing all the information in my brain, so I'm ready to absorb and learn while I'm there. And also, as a preliminary step, I'm going to spend some time going through Rightmove, Zoopla, all that, see all the properties that are listed sort of nearby me, and sort of go over them one by one and sort of evaluate their potential for investment, just as an exercise, seeing what's out there, trying to get a good gauge of the price of things on the market, you know, how much you can get for X amount of pounds, and yeah, just sort of getting to know my local area, because I am planning to, my strategy is going to be very centric to where I live, because I don't have a car and traveling is very difficult and expensive for me. So I really want to focus around where I live, and I know for a fact that it is possible because my landlord is already doing it in this area. So, you know, that's the plan for the week. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I know it's been a bit of a long-winded, unscripted sort of faff of a video, but you know, like I said, I'm new to this. Hopefully the quality will get better over time. Anyway, take care everyone. Thank you very much for watching, and wish me luck.